Welcome to CVR English. This is Naresh Kumar. Let's watch the world news. At a foreign policy forum in southern Russia, President Vladimir Putin issued a strong warning to the European Union, criticizing its increasing militarization in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. He is said to have promised a significant retaliatory response, emphasizing that Russia would not display a weakness or indecision. Putin allegedly accused Europe of fueling hysteria to mask its rising military expenditure and dismissed her claims that Russia posed a threat. He reportedly urged European nations to calm down and claimed that Russia was effectively fighting the entire NATO alliance in Ukraine. In a pointed remark, he mocked US President Donald Trump's characterization of Russia as a paper tiger, questioning NATO's strength if Russia, under such pressure, was still advancing confidently. His comments reflected the deepening rift between the Moscow and the EU. In a shocking incident, a bomb blast in Peshawar, Pakistan, claimed 9 lives and injured 4 law enforcement officials. According to Peshawar capital city police officer Mian Said, the explosion targeted police personnel with the initial investigations, revealing that the device was planted along the route of a police mobile unit. The blast occurred near the FC headquarters, and security forces quickly cordoned off the area to investigate. Senior Superintendent of Police Operation Masood Bangash told Dawn that the law enforcers are investigating the incident spot and evidence is being collected in the matter. At the Valdai Discussion Club in Sochi, Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered a dual-pronged message, one of the admiration and accession. He lauded India's unwavering national pride, stating that its people would never accept humiliation, and that Prime Minister Narendra Modi would never compromise the country's sovereignty. Putin's remarks underscored Russia's respect for India's strategic autonomy and growing global influence. In the same forum, he turned the spotlight inward, challenging Western perceptions of Russia's strength. Are we a paper tiger? He asked, casting doubt on NATO's credibility if such a label were true. Putin emphasized Russia's confidence and resolve, signaling a defiant posture amid intensifying geopolitical tensions.
People will look at what decisions are made by the political leadership and never accept any humiliation before anyone. And also I know Prime Minister Modi, he will never take any steps of the kind. So economy-wise, there is no point in it. With respect to uranium, well, it is actually kind of fuel, type of fuel. This is also type of energy for nuclear power plants. And in this case, a nuclear power plant is no different from those coal firing or furnace oil firing, etc., to generate power. And the United States buys uranium from us. And you've asked, why does it buy uranium from us and bans others to buy our energy? The answer is simple, and it was given back in the times of the Roman Empire. We all know the phrase, are we a paper tiger? Then what is NATO in this case? What is NATO like if we're a paper tiger? Okay, the main thing for us is to maintain our confidence, and we are confident.
Thank you so much. You know, there are such toys that you make out of paper and to make a tiger. I do think that next time you meet President Trump, you can give him such a toy.
We have our own relationship, and we know what to give one another, and we treat these things with calm and ease. I don't know whether it was irony or what the context was, you know. Well, he uttered that and talking to his interlocutor like the paper tiger. Okay, then what followed? Go and get to grips with this paper tiger, he might have said, you know, but things on the ground are different. Actually, the problem is, well, they receive, the Ukrainian army receives a lot of supplies of arms, as many systems as they need, but in September they have lost 44,700, and around half of that is irretrievable, and the forced mobilization brought in.
At the 16th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, the Center for Human Rights and Peace Advocacy hosted a compelling side event titled Enforcer Disappearances in Pakistan, amplifying voices demanding justice, calling for global action. The session spotlighted the plight of victims and families affected by enforced disappearances in Pakistan. Speakers included human rights activists, legal experts, and survivors who called for international accountability and stronger mechanisms to address these violations. The event emphasized the urgent need for global solidarity and action to uphold human dignity and justice.
Freedom is not easy to take. Mr. Socrates, the president, correct? One day, thank you very much.
It's not immediate, it takes time, and it is above all seized. So we are here to seize our freedom.
Former Indonesian Trade Minister Mari Elko Pangestio addressed the Flotilla Economic Conclave 2025 in New Delhi, sharing insights on global trade dynamics and inclusive growth. She emphasized the importance of multilateral cooperation in navigating economic turbulence. Pangestio highlighted Asia's growing role in shaping global markets and called for sustainable development strategies. Her remarks resonated with the conclave's theme of prosperity amid uncertainty. Drawing from her experience, she advocated for policies that balance innovation with equity. The session saw participation from global leaders and economists. Pangestio's presence added depth to the international dialogue and economic resilience.
For ourselves, domestically, for our region, and for maintaining the needed reforms in the existing multilateral fora. So to me, this is really what I think Minister has already really emphasized, that we really need to contribute to what is going to be the new order, which is going to be important for our domestic and regional resilience, and of course for our path to prosperity. So let me just very quickly talk about the what and the how, and reflect on a lot of, I'm very biased on trade issues because my background is trade, but I will mention also, of course, other issues. But let's just very briefly capture what this turbulent times means and why this time it's different. You know, we had
Israeli naval forces intercepted a flotilla carrying activists, including Greta Thunberg, attempting to deliver aid to Gaza. The flotilla, composed of 13 boats, was stopped in waters claimed by Israel under its blockade. Armored commandos boarded the vessels using water cannons and detaining those on board. A Thunberg boat was among those seized Wednesday evening. Israel stated that activists were in good health and would be deported to Europe. The flotilla organizers condemned the interception as illegal and vowed that 30 more boats would continue toward Gaza. Video showed tense confrontations at sea. The incident has sparked international debate over maritime law and humanitarian access.
Nobody is. Go comply, and everything will go down peacefully.
Pope Leo XIV, the first American pontiff, weighed in on a heated abortion-related dispute within the U.S. Catholic Church, questioning the consistency of what it means to be pro-life. Asked about Cardinal Blas Kopech's plan to honor Senator Dick Durbin. Despite Durbin's support for abortion rights, Leo emphasized the need to consider a broader ethical framework. He stated that someone who opposes abortion but supports the death penalty or mistreatment of immigrants is not really pro-life. The Pope called for mutual respect and a deeper reflection on Catholic teachings, noting that ethical issues are complex and require sincere dialogue. Hours later, Durbin declined the award amid mounting backlash from bishops.
Supich had planned to give Durbin a Lifetime Achievement Award for his work helping immigrants. But some conservative Catholic bishops complained because of Durbin's support for abortion rights. The Pope says there is a contradiction in this debate.
It's important to look at many issues that are related to what is the teaching of the Church. Someone who says I'm against abortion but says I'm in favor of the death penalty is not really pro-life. So someone who says that I'm against abortion but I'm in agreement with the inhuman treatment of immigrants who are in the United States, I don't know if that's pro-life. So they're very complex issues. I don't know if anyone has all the truth on them, but I would ask first and foremost that there be greater respect for one another.
The Pope said he was not familiar with all the details of the debate over the award, but says it's important to consider Durbin's overall record. Senator Durbin has declined the award. Chicago Cardinal Blaise Supich had planned to give Durbin a Lifetime Achievement Award for his work helping immigrants. But some conservative Catholic bishops complained because of Durbin's support for abortion rights. The Pope says there is a contradiction.
House Speaker Mike Johnson sharply criticized Democrats over the ongoing government shutdown, accusing them of political miscalculation. He warned that their strategy could backfire by empowering President Donald Trump, saying they were effectively handing him the keys to the kingdom. Johnson claimed the shutdown would allow Trump to implement sweeping budget cuts and layoffs if Republicans regain full control. His remarks come amid tense negotiations and growing public frustration over stalled federal operations. Democrats have pushed back blaming GOP leadership for refusing bipartisan compromise. The standoff continues with no clear resolution in sight.
What's happening here? Real pain is being inflicted upon the American people because 44 Democrats in the Senate have voted for the third time to reject the completely nonpartisan, completely clean, very simple 24-page continuing resolution that we passed in the House here 2 weeks ago. So this is Chuck Schumer's decision is to hand, as I said on a couple interviews yesterday, the keys to the kingdom to the president. Right? He has put himself in that situation. And it's completely unnecessary. The president takes no pleasure in this. The president did not want a shutdown. In that situation, when Congress turns off the funding and the funding runs out, it is up to the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, to determine how those resources will be spent. He has that responsibility given to him by the Democrats in the Senate. They can't complain about it, and he doesn't want to do it. But in this scenario, what they have to do is make very difficult decisions. The White House and the executive branch take no pleasure in this. But when they are tasked with determining what the priorities are, obviously they're going to follow their principles and priorities and not the other team. That's the results of an election that everybody voted in, the popular election in Electoral College. I am.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. marked National Indigenous Peoples Month by leading the major livelihood initiative for Eta communities in Porak, Pampanga at the Katuombo village. 60 carabos and 30 grades were distributed to 127 reintegrated Etas under the DSWD's PAG Abort program. The assistance aims to revive traditional farming and prevent street begging. Students received brigada backpacks and 2 Starlink units were turned over the local elementary school to boost connectivity. Since July 2023, PAGBOT has expanded from Metro Manila to regions 3 and 4A. With plans for nationwide rollout under executive under number 52.
Sa pagpapasinaya natin ng farm milyong litro ng pasteurized milk, 32 million liters of pasteurized milk, and more than 2.4 million liters of yogurt every year. Magbibigay din nito ng mga oportunidad na magkaroon ng kabuhayan ng mga magsasaka at mga farm workers natin dito sa komunidad. Bukod sa mas epektibong produksyon, magbibigay rin ito ng mas magandang kinabukasan para sa ating kababayan. None of this would have been possible without the consistent support of Farm Fresh in our collective aspiration to boost our local products.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum called on Israel to immediately release 6 Mexican nationals detained abroad. A flotilla attempted to deliver aid to Gaza. The activists were part of an international convoy intercepted by Israeli naval forces while trying to breach the blockade. Sheinbaum emphasized that Mexico respects international law and humanitarian efforts and urged Israeli authorities to ensure the safety and rights of those detained. The flotilla, which included prominent figures like Greta Thunberg, aimed to deliver food and medicine to the Palestinians. Mexico's foreign ministry is reportedly in contact with Israeli officials to facilitate the activists' safe return.
Las modificaciones que mañana no han cometido ningún delito. Nuestros connacionales tienen que ser repatriados de inmediato y obviamente pues no estamos de acuerdo con esto que hizo el Estado de Israel y tiene que llegar ayuda humanitaria a Gaza. Y obviamente nuestro posicionamiento político permanente y el reconocimiento que hizo mi gobierno ya del Estado palestino en pleno. Ayer vamos a Las modificaciones que mañana no han cometido ningún delito. Nuestros connacionales tienen que ser repatriados de inmediato y obviamente pues no estamos de acuerdo con esto que hizo el Estado de Israel y tiene que llegar ayuda humanitaria a Gaza. Y obviamente nuestro posicionamiento político permanente y el reconocimiento que hizo mi gobierno ya del Estado palestino en pleno. Ayer vamos a las modificaciones que mañana no han cometido.
Robert Morris, founder of prominent Texas mega church, pleaded guilty to the 5 counts of lewd and indecent acts with a child stemming from allegations dating back to the 1980s. The charges were brought after a woman in Oklahoma came forward last year, prompting Morris to resign from his pastoral role. Authorities confirmed the play, which marks the dramatic fall for the influential religious leader. The case has sparked renewed scrutiny of church accountability and the handling of abuse claims. Sentencing is expected in the coming weeks, with victims' advocates calling for transparency and justice. Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, the largest in Europe, is in critical condition. According to the President Volodymyr Zelensky, he warned that Russian shelling has halted efforts to restore external power lines, leaving the facility reliant on emergency diesel generators, one of which has now failed. The plant's vulnerability raises fears of nuclear disaster amid ongoing conflict. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin reaffirmed his commitment to the victory in Ukraine, launching the country's largest atom conscription drive in nearly a decade in a video marking the 3rd anniversary of Russia's annexation of 4 Ukrainian regions. Putin declared all of Russia is waging this righteous battle. Moscow insists Ukraine must surrender Donetsk, Kherson, Luhansk and Zaporizhzhia despite not fully controlling them for peace talks to begin. Ukraine has formally rejected this demand as fighting continues across contested territories.
Логістику, російську паливну інфраструктуру, все, що служить російській війні. Світ знає, тільки Росія є винною, що війна не закінчується. Правильні сигнали отримуємо зі Сполучених Штатів Америки і від інших наших партнерів. Сигнали, що сила потрібна, щоб примусити Росію до реальної дипломатії, до перемовин, до миру, до зустрічі тих форматів, які можуть реально допомогти, від яких Росія постійно ховається. Без сильного тиску.
U.S. Defense Secretary Peter Hegseth visited Memphis, Tennessee to rally federal agents and military personnel involved in a newly formed crime-fighting task force. The initiative aims to tackle rising violence and organized crime in the region through coordinated efforts between federal law enforcement and local authorities. Hexate's presence underscored the administration's commitment to strengthening domestic security and supporting frontline responders. The task force is expected to deploy advanced surveillance tools and strategic operations to curb criminal activity. Community leaders have expressed cautious optimism as the program rollouts.
Crossing illegally, whether it's in Los Angeles, where we stand by our partners in ICE, who need to be able to have the ability to do their job anywhere in any American city. Whether it's Washington, D.C., ensuring our nation's capital is safe for citizens and visitors who come to visit that beautiful place, or right here in Memphis, where your families, every family, deserves to live safe and free. I just cannot thank you enough for what you do in difficult places, in dark places, in dangerous places, where politicians spend a lot of time second-guessing you, second-guessing the impossible decisions that you have to make that they will never understand.
Addressing the ongoing U.S. government shutdown, Vice President J.D. Vance criticized Democrats for allegedly blocking efforts to reopen federal services. Speaking at a White House briefing, Vance claimed that while President Trump worked to the lower prescription and drug prices, Democrats failed to support the initiative. He accused the Chung evasive wing of the Democratic Party of the demanding billions in healthcare funding for undocumented immigrants. As a condition to end the shutdown, Vance emphasized that most Republicans and some moderate Democrats backed reopening the government. But negotiations stalled over healthcare policy disagreements. He urged bipartisan dialogue, stating, "Let's have a discussion. We need to reopen the government."
The reason your government is shut down at this very minute is because, despite the fact that the overwhelming majority of congressional Republicans and even a few moderate Democrats supported opening the government, the Chuck Schumer AOC wing of the Democratic Party shut down the government because they said to us, "We will open the government, but only if you give billions of dollars of funding for health care for illegal aliens." That's a ridiculous proposition. Let me say two other quick things, and then again, I'll take some questions. Number one, we all understand that Democrats and Republicans have policy disagreements. The Democrats want to do things. Look, when Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries were in here a couple of days ago, they made some suggestions that the president was more than happy to say, yes, let's sit down and talk about how we can solve the healthcare crisis that we inherited from the Biden administration. But it's one thing to say that we should solve the healthcare crisis.
That's the wrap up of the Vol News. Keep watching CVR English News.